Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the LovenStamps studio. If you've been following along, you know that I have been gone for the last couple of weeks. I was in New Mexico volunteering in the wardrobe department at Philmont Scout Ranch, helping with interpretive clothing. So, doing a bunch of sewing and patching and mending and all the fun things. And I had videos for you while I was gone because I didn't want you to miss anything. So, we went ahead and I pre-recorded some things to share with you, and I hope you guys have been having fun. But I am actually back in the studio today, so yes, this is me actually talking to you. So make sure you say hi, leave me comments, all the things if you're able to be with us live. And if you're watching later, then it probably doesn't make too much difference to you, but leave a comment anyway and say hi, because I'm so happy to be back with you. A couple things. We are going to be using the super fabulous Perfectly Pears stamp set and die set today. I adore these, and their coordinating designer series paper. These are beautiful, beautiful colors, and honestly, I kind of feel like my dress probably matches them. I must definitely gravitate toward these. But one of the great things about the designer series papers, of course, is that they have amazing front patterns, but they also have amazing back patterns. And this one happens to be Darling Duckling, which I adore. And so one of the tricks with designer series paper is always, if we stick it down on a layer, then we don't get to see the back anymore, and that's just sad. The nice thing about today's card is that it is a designer series paper card base, short DSP card base, which is actually a tag on the LovenStamps blog. You can go back and see lots of DSP card base ideas. But it is going to show both sides of the designer series paper, so super helpful. Hey, Tanya, yay! All right. So with that, I think we should probably get started. We have blending brush project things going on today. We have all the stuff, and this is the third of the monthly tutorials, LovenStamps monthly tutorials for the month of July. So the ones that you get as a PDF if you have an order this month. So, all right, let's get our stuff down. Oh, and these gems are, I don't know, I just adore them. The low profile sparkle dots go in the same color. So we'll be sure to put some of those into our card here. All right, let's pull out our papers. We have a strip of the designer series paper. This is a really efficient card size. Hi, Darlene, good to see you. Really efficient card size because it uses a 4 by 12 inch strip of designer series paper. And so there's really no waste, and that is a happy thing. We still need our card to be the normal size. Hi, Sue. Yay, the gang is gathering. Good to see everybody. We still need to have this fit into a regular size envelope. So with your cardstock or your DSP here that's 4 by 12, you're going to go ahead and you're going to score it at 5.5 inches right here, and then you're going to score it here at 11 inches. So basically, we have a normal size card. Now, you can cut off this last inch, but there are some tricks about DSP card bases that you're going to want to know. The DSP is a little thinner than cardstock, and so I find that I like to stabilize it, and there are a couple ways that I can do that. So one of them is to save this last inch here, fold it back to the front, because you know that it's going to coordinate. Yay, Stampin' Up artists for putting those things together. And so, of course, we're going to make sure to have that show on the front, and then it also adds some stability to the front of our card, okay? So win-win both ways around. Now, if I want to make this even a little more stable, I can add a little cardstock strip inside here. You could add something heavy if you want it to be really strong, like a piece of thick designer or thick white cardstock, thick basic white cardstock. Or you can just sort of go with the regular here, and we'll do sort of the minimalist here. Oh, so my glue has been sitting here for 2 weeks. I think I opened this one yesterday because I actually had some stamping to do. There we go. All right, so I'm going to pop some glue in here so that this is kind of holding everything together. And then I'm going to slide this under. We'll put a little more glue right there. Because remember, this is actually a functional layer, not just a decorative layer. This layer is going to help us hold our card's front steady, and it's going to give a little bit more stability to the front edge of the card when we open it. Okay, let's try and get it straight there. All right, okay, so I'm going to stick this down. All right, and now we need to do some decorating of the front of our card. We're going to come back, well, why don't we do the inside so I don't forget. Since we're talking about card stability, one of the things to know is that a really great way to stabilize this is to go ahead and put a piece of cardstock that's really a pretty full layer here for the back. So since this is 4 inches tall by 5.5, this is 3 3¾ by 5¼ so that fits. And we want to decorate that, of course. So this is going to be a trick that you can do with the dies here. And we're going to use one of these coordinating dies. Here's our Pears that we're going to need. But one of these coordinating dies is this set of flowers here. There's 2. There's this flower cluster. And by the way, everyone has been asking about this crosshatch. I tried to jump on while I was out of the internet zone and tell you guys about this, but if you missed it, the crosshatch is from here, from these dies. And then I have this little strip of flowers here. So this little strip of flowers is what we're going to use now, and we are going to make this a negative space cutout for ourselves. So again, we love the designer series paper. We want to connect it, so we're going to use this here. So I'm going to take this over to our die cut machine and pop this through. I do want this to be kind of straight, so I'm going to pop a little piece of washi tape on here because we're going to use the negative cutout instead of the flowers themselves. Now, that doesn't mean like toss the flowers. That probably means go ahead and put the flowers someplace safe, like in your stamp case, so that you can use them for another project. But when we come back, now we have these flowers, like I said, that I'll just pop them over here. Okay, they're flying everywhere. And then I have this die cut here through our card. Be a little careful with your washi tape. And now we have this extra bonus, which is really perfect because the idea of this card is to get to see both sides of the DSP. And so we're gonna put this in here. Let's see. Oh, Darlene. Oh, hi, Taryn. Hi, Linda. Good to see everybody. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put Darling Duckling here, get this ink pad open. We're going to add just a little bit of extra interest here, and this is going to get covered up, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. Let's see, somebody asked, oh, Darlene asked when lives usually are. So Maker Mornings with Meg is usually live on the LovenStamps Facebook page here on Tuesday and Thursday mornings at 9:30 Central Time. So a little bit off for our friends on the other time zones. But I've been gone the last few, so I know Facebook notifications sometimes are different when there are when you're not actually live, when it's a pre-recorded video. And then of course you can watch any of them afterwards on the LovenStamps YouTube channel, since Facebook doesn't save our lives anymore, or on the LovenStamps blog. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put this in here. And now we have this extra tie-in between the designer series paper and the inside of our card. So remember this little trick here when you're trying to make the most of fun dies and things in your cards. Oh yeah, Darlene says she'll write it down. Good deal. All right, so we're going to have our card here. We're going to go ahead and do some decorations for the front. And I looked at this paper and I thought, wow, I could use, you know, basic white, kind of like the inside of our card. But I also decided that it might be really fun to use something a little softer. And one of the other colors that I've been emphasizing with this suite is Petal Pink. So this is one of the cards. I showed this 2 weeks ago, or I think 2 weeks ago, as one of our other tutorials. So this is an extended Z fold card. And this is also included in the PDF with the pair projects for this month. You can learn more about that. There's a link in the video description. But the Petal Pink is a really great color with this. So instead of using white, I've decided that we're going to stamp on Petal Pink for our Pears here. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to, I can't remember now whether I stamped the branches or the outline first or the inside first. We'll live dangerously. I'm going to stamp the outlines first. All right, so we're going to need a couple of these Pears here. So let's go ahead and stamp those. And then we're going to need a couple of our leaves here. And you'll notice I'm not stamping them super close because I want to be able to die cut things all at one time. I don't want to have to go back and do a billion die cuts over and over again. So we're just going to give ourselves some extra space. And now we are going to do our pears. Now, there are lots of choices for this. So if this process intimidates you, don't worry. You don't have to do this. You can do single colored pears, no problem. They're beautiful too. You can also do this, which is straight out of the designer series paper. So you just trim out and then you can use your die to cut the pieces that you need, both the pear and the leaves. And actually all these flowers match some of the die cuts too. Well, I guess most of the flowers match some die cuts too. In any case, so you don't have to color your pears. You can use them directly out of the DSP, but coloring them is really fun. And the stamp makes it really easy. So I'm going to start with my lightest color, which is Darling Duckling, and I'm going to go ahead and ink up my stamp, okay? Now, I am going to go back and I'm going to add some color. So I have my blending brush, and I'm going to go ahead and do a little swirl here to pick up some ink. And then I am going to go ahead and, on this sort of darker side here, the one with a little bit less ink. And by that, I mean, can you see how this is the lighter side here? Because it's going to have that, that little bit less ink on it from the cross hatching and the way the stamp is designed. Okay, so it doesn't really matter. You can do it any way you like, but I'm going to do that. And then I want just a little bit of that Petal Pink, Calypso Coral, orangey color. So I'm going to use Timid Tiger. And this is a pretty strong color. So I'm going to do just a little bit, kind of like a rosy hue here on the side of our pear, okay? So we'll see. We're going to get 2 shots at this so we can see maybe if I need to do darker next time. But I'm going to go ahead and line this up and stamp this onto our paper. And there you can see we have this really fun extra kind of colored pear. Now I didn't get a whole lot of the orange on, so I'm going to do a little more for the next one. Now remember, I'm going to ink this with my Darling Duckling, but I really want to clean my stamp first because I have a lot of green on here. Look at my newish chamois, so much cleaner than my last one. I know some of you guys are rooting for me to throw away my last one. Sorry, I just can't do it. It's still here. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and ink this in Darling Duckling again. We're going to add a little more. We'll do a little different placement here on the Old Olive, and then I'm going to give it a lot of Timid Tiger here up kind of on this high side. Okay, so we're going to have a little bit more orange, and if it doesn't come out quite the way I want, I'll show you another way we can enhance that color. So all is not lost. All right, we're going to go ahead and pop this on here. Oh yeah, okay, I like that. Now, if I say I wanted a little bit more on this one, I can actually just go ahead here with my blending brush and I might like just stipple a little extra color on there. Okay, that was more than I expected. So let's see if I can brush that out a little with my Darling Duckling. Yeah, okay, I'm good with that. Let's see. So the moral of that story is you really want to, on the scratch paper here, you want to soften that first little bit of ink that you have from your blending brush because it's going to be a little bit stronger when you first tap it down than you expect. So kind of like that. Sorry. All right. So we'll put that down. Okay, now we need to color in our leaves, and for that I'm going to go ahead and ink this one here in Old Olive. It's a little bit harder, a little bit more intense color than I really want. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp off first. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. And if you're wondering why I'm stamping on the background, it's because it's convenient and that's going to get die cut and no one's going to know anyway. So, hi Joan. All right, so now we're going to bring in our dies and go ahead and die cut these elements. When you're lining up dies, I find it much easier to go ahead and do this on my table and then go ahead and add just a little bit of washi tape to hold the die in place so that when I transfer it, it stays exactly where I want it. So come with me again to my die cut here. Oh, I have this hippo card here right in front of me. Okay, everybody really loved that hippo card. If you haven't seen it, you're going to want to go check it out. But this one here has been kind of a big hit. So It is really cute. That spooky stamp set is pretty great. So, all right, so I'm going to pop these down and I'm going to scoot my dies over. Let's see. So has anybody been up to anything fun over the last during my absence over the last couple weeks? I know I've seen some people picking up some cool things in their orders and so forth. So that's always fun and appreciated too. So thank you. All right, so second set of pairs are done. Let's bring these back over and pop these out. Okay. All right, and so usually if I'm using, like if a stamp set is just on my workspace a lot, I don't take the washi tape off. I just leave it because it just makes life a little easier the next time to have it already on there. Okay. If I'm putting a die set away for a while, like I'm moving on to something else or whatever, then I'll take the washi tape off. But otherwise, I like to kind of just leave it handy. All right, so we now have our 2 pairs, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of figure out where we want to put these. All right, we're going to have our stems kind of up here, and then we need a greeting for this card. So we're going to bring in just a little simple strip here. And the greetings in Perfectly Pears are really pretty universal. Hello, thank you, friend, congratulations. They cover a lot of things. A good friend is a gift is a great addition too. Linda said, oh, Linda made the hippo card. Yay, I'm so glad it turned out. That's awesome. All right, and then I really want to emphasize this Secret C color here, which I realize is still behind me. So I'm going to grab Secret C. This is one of my new favorite neutrals. I did use pecan pie for stamping the outlines on our pairs, just to make that a little bit less obtrusive and blend a little color with the colors in the pairs. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to use Secret C for our greeting because we want that to be obtrusive. We want it to definitely stand out. And so I'm going to go with this, a good friend is a great gift. And pop this one on here like so. And again, I always end up with tons of strips like this around because of the way we cut layers for cards. So save those sometimes. You might find them to come in pretty handy. And I'm going to go ahead and do a little flag there for our greeting. So this is going to pop on here. We have some embellishments we want to add to this. So I want to connect our pairs a little bit more to the background. We have this branchy motif going on in the background of our designer series paper. And oh, yay, another Lindo making the Halloween card today. Yay, I'm glad you guys are enjoying that one so much. All right, so what I want to do to connect these is add a little bit more of this branchiness. And included in this die set, this really robust, lots of pieces, awesome die set, in case you hadn't caught on to the fact that I like it. There is not only this crosshatch, but there's also this little branchy piece like this. There are a lot of things you can do with this. It can be done in multiple colors. You can do it once in like pecan pie and once in olive, and then cut the leaves off and put them back onto here. So you could have a two-colored branch. But we're going to use it sort of as a non-specific branch that I want to flow into the background of our card. And to make that sort of disappear into the background, I'm going to go with that pecan pie color again. So I did this through the magic of television. We have our die cut done, focused, done already. But what we're going to do here is we're going to pop this behind. Now, a couple of choices. I could die cut like 3 of these and pop them all over the place. But another solution that is really quite easy is to go ahead and cut these at some of the junctures. So I'm going to cut it here, and I'm going to cut it here, I think. All right, so now we have 3 separate pieces from one die cut that we can pop onto our card. So let's go ahead and put some of these pieces together. I'm going to use my glue here to put a little dot on our pair, and I'm going to pop this stem on. Okay, so these pieces will stay together. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do something a little different for this one. I don't want our pairs to be too matchy-matchy. I don't want them to look exactly the same. So I'm going to use that same trick, and I'm just going to trim off this extra leaf here. So now we have one pair with 2 and one with 1, if that makes sense. And what it does is it kind of confuses your visual. It's not like anyone's really studying the leaves to see if they're exactly the same or not, but it makes them look like two different pairs because they have a different set of stems. Does that make sense? So even though there's only one big pear die cut and one pear shape and so forth, we've colored them differently and we've added different leaves to them, which really helps to sort of embellish and differentiate between them. All right, so let's pop some of these little friends on here. Pop some of this down here. What we want to do is we want to make kind of a little nest basically to tuck our pears into with all of these colors kind of. I think we're going to do this one up and this one down with all of these little leaves and pieces, and then we're going to leave a spot here for our greeting to go in. So let's come a little closer. Yay! Oh, I'm so glad, Carol. Carol says that she loves the pear theme possibilities. Oh my gosh, I totally agree. They're such a great motif, and they're really, really popular right now. All right, so now I have these placed pretty exactly where I want them. I am going to try and keep them in place, and I'm going to come back with my dimensionals. I did do some stamping while I was away in New Mexico. I shared some cards, some thank you notes with people who were really awesome in making my time there terrific. And so I took a paper pumpkin with me, and I'll try and post a picture later today. But I did some paper pumpkin cards in my tent, in my base camp tent. And then I did some paper pumpkin out while I was kind of on the trail waiting for some folks. So that was really fun too. And I got to see Joey, which was great. All right, I think I'm pretty happy with all of those. So let's go ahead and peel these backings. And got to hear some great music and meet some really cool new people. It was a great, great place to be. So, all right. There we go. So, oh, I kind of want this down a little further. Now, okay, in case you noticed, it's stuck down, and what I'm doing is I'm pulling sideways. So when you have a layer that you want to separate, you want to avoid peeling it back like this, because what that does is it breaks all the fibers in the cardstock or the paper, and then it makes your paper not sit straight, right? You can tell that it's been peeled up or something like that. So what I try to do always is twist things. So on here, I would maybe like twist, or I would pull sideways. But what that does is it shears the adhesive rather than damaging your paper, and it makes it a little safer to kind of pull some of those layers off. And now I can place this where I want it, which was a little lower. Okay. Now we have our greeting, which we're going to pop on here. And I'm just going to put a dimensional over here and add a little glue out here. Remember, because it's kind of like building with Legos, everything has to be flat across. Oh, Taryn says her pear collection is still coming. I love that. You're going to have such a good time with it. All right, I'm popping this on with some adhesive. All right, so now we have this really fun card here, but we are lacking a little bit of embellishment. We added this paper here with our die to help give some interest and some connection to the background, because the background is really fairly busy and our pears here on the front are a little bit less involved. So we've combined those two. But other like pieces, if I want to repeat an element, so we talk about repeating colors, we talk about repeating shapes, we want to repeat this flower element. So I've got actually a little tiny flower here that was cut from Secret Sea cardstock. And so I'm going to go ahead and put a tiny dot of glue on here and attach this. And I can't hold on to that. Fingers are too big. So I'm going to use my take your pick tool to pop that on there. All right. And then one more thing, of course, we're going to bring in is our low profile dots. So these are low profile sparkle dots is what they're calling them if you're looking for them. You can, of course, find all the supplies for today's card in the video description. So if you need anything, you can get them there. And thank you guys for shopping with me. I always appreciate it. And I'm going to go ahead and add some dots to this. So let's go with the yellow here because it's nice and bright. So I'm going to use my slide and stick method, which is one of my favorites. So you can just use your take your pick tool and you can slide the dot and then it will pick up onto your tool here. And then you can stick it down on your card kind of wherever you want it. Let's see. And I usually like to do things in threes. So I'm going to pop those on there like that. Okay. All right. What do you guys think? Are you in love with the pears as much as I am? I absolutely adore these. I've had so much fun playing with them. I love the colors and I love the Secret Seed Navy. I love Darling Duckling. I like the green with it. And then, of course, this is a great card for making the most of both sides of your designer series paper. So let's zoom out just a little bit here and look at some of these other papers. This one would be really pretty as a designer series card, design DSP card base. So this would be the folded back, and then this would be the pattern. This yellow, this Darling Duckling, I love this one. This one would make another great DSP card base, would have this contrast white on the inside. The peach color here would be gorgeous also, and just wait for it. Wait for the inside. Dun, dun, dun. It's Secret Sea. So a little bit of Secret Sea with some old olive lines, which would be a really great DSP card base. So that's like 3 of the papers. Which ones are we missing? Oh, the other ones we're missing are the border paper. So this one actually would make a great DSP card base too. You can kind of picture it like this. So we used a corner of it here on our card here that I shared last week. But you could also do a whole strip of it here. And then of course it has this really pretty petal pink on the inside. So it would be a fun one because you'd have some of that extra white space up there. And then there's one more paper. Which one am I missing? Perhaps I've used so much of it that it's not here. 1, 2, oh, duh, it's the pears. Okay, well, you could sacrifice these pears and use this as a DSP card base. But honestly, this piece here, I really much prefer making the most of by using our dies, because the dies cut out the pears, right? They cut out the double pears. So this is the small one there. And the leaves and even the florals there get cut out. So this is the paper that I would use as my sort of main image paper, as opposed to just cutting DSP card base strips. But the nice thing about the DSP card base, the way I'm sharing it, is that it is a strip that's 4 inches tall. So you get 3 of them out of a single designer series paper sheet. You can make them 4 1/4 inches tall if you want them to be the more like traditional size that we do for DSP or for card bases, but you certainly don't have to. So you can kind of adjust if you need to for that. So Joan says she likes the DSP too, but not the bundle. That's fair. That's the great thing, right? There's so many choices. Hi, Cheryl. Oh, hi, Margaret, my neighbor. So many possibilities for different things. So here are 3 of the cards that I've shared so far, and I have one that I will share with you next week during Maker Mornings with Meg. That's going to be our final pair feature. So lots of ideas. All right, so today is Tuesday. So hi, happy start of your week to everyone. Thursday, I will be back, aka pre-Friday, with another video tutorial for you. I'm not clear for sure if it's going to be live or recorded, but I will have something for you on Thursday, don't worry. And then next week, I'm actually leaving for another short backpacking trip. I just, it's a great time to be outdoors. So, but I love you guys so much, and I don't want you to be without ideas, so I am still sharing. So keep an eye out for things to be posted next week too, and then I'll be back next Thursday live again, so that we can see. Like I said, I might be here this Thursday live. It just depends when we're hitting the trail. So I hope you guys have had a really great summer so far, that you have lots more ideas planned for your crafting, and that you're finding things that I'm sharing that are inspirational to you and give you a chance to put some things together and make the most of them. So yay. Oh, I'm glad you guys love these. Yeah, I do love these pears so much. I think that is about it for now. If you are participating in the virtual retreat, then I look forward to kind of hearing your thoughts on that as you go along. That starts on tomorrow. Anyway, it's coming up really soon. So make sure that if you ordered the virtual album kit, that you got that email to join in the fun for that. So let me know if you have any questions about that. All right, everybody, have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. Thank you for joining me. Be sure to say hi and let me know where you're watching from, whether you're watching now or watching later. It's been fun to catch up with everybody again. So happy stamping, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.